Zoom meetings are hard. Bill Gates can't even keep the attention of Chris Anderson from TED Talk here. So let's talk about some frameworks and techniques for you to command the room in your Zoom meeting and speak with confidence.
Hi there, it's Vicky. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I talk about frameworks and mental models for clear thinking and clear communications. And today we are talking about speaking on Zoom, virtual speaking. Since we're all headed to the metaverse one day, let's get to why it's different to speak virtually versus in real life, and what are the techniques you can use to speak confidently when you're presenting virtually. Okay, let's get to the first difference, which is that you cannot make eye contact in Zoom. This is what I call the Zoom paradox, where if you look at the person on your screen, you're not looking at the camera. And if you don't look at the camera, the other person don't see you looking at them. They just see you looking down somewhere. Who knows what you would be looking at? But if you look at the camera, you actually cannot see anyone in front of you. And so it creates this really difficult way of communicating and connecting with people because you just cannot look at each other at the same time. So here are two techniques to get around that. The first one's very easy. Resize your Zoom window so you put the person under the camera. That way you can look down a little bit and it's very difficult for that person to tell whether you're looking straight into the camera or just down a little bit to see their face and their reactions. But you might tell me, okay, it's a big group meeting and right now Bob is on there. I really cannot stand Bob. I don't want to look at his face, but when I resize the window, Bob is right there in my face. So in that case, there's a really good trick where you can, behind your camera, put a photo of someone that you actually want to talk to. It could be your friends, it could be your family, it could be your favorite BTS member, it could be your cat, your dog, doesn't matter, someone who can make you feel that connection and talk to them so that when you look at the camera, you actually look behind it a little bit to see the photo that you've put up. And the best part about this technique is that you can always switch up the photo depending on what you're talking about. If it's something light, put someone who you have fun with. If it's something more serious, you switch up the photo so you get into that mood. Energy and connection really shows through camera. So even if Zoom makes it very difficult for us to make eye contact, you can make it easier and bring your presence when you speak. This will help you feel more relaxed and more confident. Now, the second difference between in real life and virtual speaking is the level of distraction in the audience. Of course, everyone can be distracted anywhere they like, but without being in that same, boring, whitish, grayish meeting room and have the presence of other people maybe looking at them, it's a lot easier to get distracted. And because you can't use physical presence to command the room, you'll need 3 techniques to bring people's attention back to you. The first one is using hand gestures. I'm sure if you've been around for a while, you know there's a little Italian in me who just cannot talk without using hand gestures. Extensive studies have been done on how effective hand gestures are to engage the audience. According to a 2021 research looking at TEDx talks, the popular talks, within 5 minutes, people use 60 different hand gestures. They double the hand gestures of not so popular talks. Now, hand gestures are especially crucial when you're speaking virtually because within those little blocks, people's eyes are drawn to the ones that are moving. And so you might find yourself getting distracted all the time when the screen is churning and people's face starts showing up. And so if you want to bring people's attention back to you when you're speaking, making hand gestures and not just going really close and just have your bobbing head talk is a great technique to immediately engage whoever is listening. Now, the second technique to bring people's attention back on you and for you to project confidence is to use pauses. Now, this might sound a little counterintuitive. Why would we want to have awkward silences? But this is where confidence is projected, especially in virtual speaking, and there are 2 benefits. The first one is to break up the rhythm so people actually listen to what you're saying. The awkward silence, the change in the sounds, make people think, wait, did something change? Am I missing something? Is this a time to speak and I missed it? It gets them snapped back to what you're saying. You gather everyone again and then you continue to your next point. Which brings me to the second benefit is that pauses give emphasis to whatever you're saying. So when you have an important point and you've made it, give a pause. Let people take it in. What does that mean? Give them a chance to think.
This is your victory. I'm so in love with you.
So especially if you have to present for a long time, make sure you use pauses. Now, the third technique to get people to focus on you and to project confidence is to use people's names. This sends two confidence signals. The first one is a social confidence, that you are comfortable calling onto different people, attributing their ideas to them, indicating that you're listening and you recognize them and you want to bring them into the conversation. Now, the second social signal you send with using names is that you're setting the tone for the meeting. It doesn't matter if you're leading the meeting or if you're just a participant. By using other people's name, by bringing people into your conversations, you're telling everyone that, oh, it's okay to make this interactive. And that is a sign of confidence, because if you're nervous about what you're talking about, you just say what it is and move on. Hope no one will pick at it, no one will poke holes with it. But by making it social, by making it interactive, it is a sign of confidence, and it makes others feel the need to participate. Of course, you don't have to make this, let's put Bob on the spot. Hey, Bob, answer this question for me. It could be as simple as,
Bob mentioned X the other day.
it doesn't even have to be in this meeting. You can just say,
Bob mentioned X the other day, and I think that can really apply to project A that we're working on.
pause. Right now, you've got Bob listening because I heard my name. Do I need to speak up? And other people are listening to, okay, project A, Bob said this. I wonder what's the connection. You get people thinking, you get people focused on your topic, and then you can continue. And while you're talking, people are thinking about what should they say? What is their opinion on this? And so by the time you finish, there's probably going to be other people who will contribute to this conversation. And in that way, you've gathered their attention back on whatever it is that you're talking about. Now, this leads to the next difference between in real life speaking and Zoom speaking, is that you can cheat by preparing ahead of time. Studies on Olympians, on performance athletes have shown that the high performers always trained under pressured situations. Michael Phelps, the world record-breaking Olympic swimmer, would go through these types of pressure training where the coach would come and he would crush Michael Phelps goggles right before Michael would go in there and swim. Then you might think, okay, that's really extra. Why would you need to do that? But a similar situation actually happened during the Olympics where he couldn't wear his goggles and had to perform. Now, I know we're not training to be Olympic Zoom speakers, but if you feel uncomfortable when you're in front of Zoom, you can, one, very easily just open up Zoom, see your face on a screen, get used to it, and just practice. Plus, you can record it, and I know even though it's cringe, if you really want to get good at it, you can watch your recordings and see the filler words that you like to use, see little quirks you do, like fiddle with your hair or with your nails or something. And once you know it, it's really easy to get over it and improve. And the other technique is to jot down speaking points while you're in the meeting. Because no one can look at the camera and make eye contact at the same time, no one will notice. Plus, in Zoom meetings, it's especially easy to lose the main point of the meeting because you're not making the eye contact. There's a lot of things to do and people are usually distracted. So you can play the role of the person who brings the conversation back by jotting down notes of the main points that you know the speakers want to talk to. And once the conversation starts to stray, you just have to speak up and bring it back. And you can combine the techniques we've talked about previously. Let's say Betty was speaking a little bit off topic and you want to use this chance to bring the conversation back confidently.
Betty, you bring up an interesting point because I think that relates to what Bob said earlier about Project X.
Pause.
Maybe that's something to think about when we discuss Project X.
And this way, you don't even need to bring back the topic. Whoever is in charge of Project X would probably come in and take over the mic and say,
okay, yeah, that's a great transition. Let's talk about Project X.
Right? And this way you've spoke up, you've sent the social signals, you've brought the conversation back, and whoever is in charge of Project X knows, hey, this person's listening. And to wrap this up, before you go, I want to mention the last bonus technique that you have to make sure you do, which is the positioning of your camera. Because as I've mentioned in the beginning, even though confidence is not just for outspoken people who have a big smile and really good posture, posture does convey something unconscious to everyone who's watching these little grids on Zoom. And you want to position your camera just above eye level, because this will force you to open up your shoulders and look up. Naturally bring out the alpha male power pose in you. With that, if you learned something new today, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Let me know in the comments which ones you're already using or which techniques you want to implement. Anything else you want me to talk about for communication frameworks, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.